What's going on, people? Is day 9 of Hustler University, the path to a six-figure business. All right, now you thought the stuff that I gave you day 1 through day 8 was a little rough? Well, buckle up your big girl panties and your big boy drawers because we're really about to amp it up. One of the things about being a reseller is people get locked into a certain thing. And I'm going to tell you a quick story. This happened to a guy that's in one of my other groups. He was doing Amazon FBA on a major level, serious level. Well, apparently Warner Brothers pegged him for selling a counterfeit item. Now, this is the rub. If you do FBA, Amazon has the option of where they can mix your product with other sellers who are selling the exact same thing. And if someone orders from your vector, then you get the credit. But the thing is, he may have not even sent that up there, but he's out of business because of that. He got hit by a $50,000 lawsuit and he lost. He's out of business. So he's got to start over from scratch. One of the reasons that our storage auction business was able to weather the highs and the lows was we had several different selling channels. And there was other things that I did that I don't really talk about on YouTube, but I'm going to talk about in Hustler University because most of my life I've been a person that was very curious. I like doing a lot of different things. And everyone was just like, hey, focus on one thing, focus on one thing. My mind doesn't work like that. It never did and probably never will. Well, because of that diversity of thought, at one time we were selling lawnmowers. It's just once you get the infrastructure, it lends itself to much more than you originally thought. Now, multi-channel selling is a must. It's not optional, and we're going to discuss where people fall in. People fall in love with Amazon and they just do Amazon. Do they fall in love with eBay? They just do eBay. Or they fall in love with Amazon FBA and they do Amazon FBA. Or they, Craigslist. That's my thing. And really, if you are a true hard hustling reseller, you will be using regular Amazon. You'll be selling on eBay. You'll be doing Amazon FBA. You will sell on Etsy, Craigslist, Facebook, and your website. I know you're going, what? How can I keep up with all that? This is going to be a two-parter because I'm going to outline all the sales channels that I think you should be using. And then in the next part, I'm going to break it down how you can put it all together. Because, in my quest to keep these easily digestible, I'm just going to give it to you. And then you can come back later and get both of these at the same time. Because, once again, you need to be on Amazon and understand how I feel about eBay. And I'll say it once again, it's a necessary evil. eBay has done a great job of positioning themselves in people's minds, hearts, and wallets. It is what it is. But if it's just part of your selling vector mix, if something funky happens with eBay, you're not out of business. Remember, I went through it. Woke up, everything was gone. They were holding 32 grand. That would have put a lot of people out of business, but fortunately, because we had other stuff going on, and I also had the hustler mindset, that didn't happen. But Amazon, eBay, Amazon FB, you want to be here with all of this stuff. Now, the thing is, online, you have people and it's like, well, do what you like and, get comfortable. You don't want to be comfortable. Comfortable is not going to put a lot of money in your pocket. You may, because this is the thing with all of these platforms. Amazon's a platform, eBay's a platform, Amazon, they're not yours. Only your website is an entity that you control everything that goes on that website. At any time, any of these other groups can create a policy change that will impact your cash flow. You read the stories all the time. It happens all of the time, but people are just like, la, 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 la. Well, it won't happen to me. That's the common thing. Or if it happens to someone else, well, it didn't happen to me, and therefore they must be doing something wrong. or it wouldn't have happened to them. That's not true. So to insulate yourself from calamity and impending disaster, you're going to have one of these: a warehouse. Well, essentially, you should have some type of warehouse, even if it's just two big storage units. Potentially a storefront, depending on what you're doing, but warehouse is always first. Warehouse is first, then storefront after you've built selling channels and you have revenue coming in. Only at that point do you do a store, because the store is going to have some costs that will knock you upside your head. And if you're trying to make money and absorb those costs, it can put you out of business. And you see it all the time. I want you to think about, in your town where you are, how many times you've seen a business that was open for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months, and then one day you went by and there was a for rent sale in the window again. It's those costs. They're high. They're very high. Pop-up sale. This is something that I did sparingly, and it was situationally driven by items. Like, I bought a unit that had a bunch of carpets, rugs, not carpets, rugs. You know, they were 5x8, 6x9, really nice rugs, about 150 of them. I just took Humpty and about 30 rugs, and I was one of those people on the side of the street, because you go to a gas station and say, hey, I want to sell some of these rugs. Hey, $50 for me just sitting out there for you a few hours, is that good enough for you? Sometimes they say yes, sometimes they say no, some will let you do it for free. Well, I sat out there and sold those rugs. They were in the warehouse, they were on Craigslist, but I would go out there and move. I had 30 rugs in the truck. I would usually move a 5 or 6, but I was selling them for $50 to $100. So it was worth sitting out there in the sun to do it. And to me, that was like a pop-up sale. So you may get some items that you can do that type of thing with, because it's not for everything. See, it's about knowing that you can do it and have it in your arsenal when you need to do it. And then flea markets. Flea markets are good. And there's two types of flea markets. There's the flea market you go out, you set up. I hate those. I'm not going to lie. I hate those. And then there's the flea markets that's indoors, an antique booth that's set up all the time. And some you have to man your booth. Some they sell stuff for you. So you want to be using all of this. You want to be using all of this, because the thing is, I want you to really understand that you should get excited. And I'm going to flip back, so don't get too confused. But you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's go back. 8. And then we're just going to go 9. We're going to take storefront and pop-up sale out of it, because you have 9 selling channels, right? Various items, various platforms. You have stuff that you ship. See, with this setup, you can do big stuff, because this is one of the things you do not see on YouTube. Everyone's going for clothing or something they can pick up at a garage sale or something they can move really quick. Big stuff. Now, we have these 9 selling channels. You got the warehouse. So say your brother Jerome gives you a bedroom set. One of the reasons that people don't like to mess with furniture is they don't have enough room to set it up, because they don't want to have to move it over and over again, because each time you move it, you have the chance of damaging it. But if you got a decent sized warehouse, so what if that bedroom set sits in the warehouse for 2 or 3 months? You've got the space. It's about the infrastructure. So you've got the warehouse, there's a washer and dryer, there's a bedroom set. Say there's a golf cart. You have a friend that's like, yeah, I'll sell that for you on consignment. So you've got that. So you have these 9 selling channels. Now, if each channel does $200 a month net profit, now I want you to think about that. That's $50 a week, each channel. It's $1,800 a month. And I'm going to tell you something. When you have multiple selling channels, your stress level goes down. Because this is what's going to happen. One's going to be going like gangbusters, and you're going to be so seduced that you're going to put all your efforts there. Understand, if it's going like gangbusters and you really don't have to do a lot, that means you have energy and time to focus on building something else. You can kind of put Amazon on autopilot. You can kind of put eBay on autopilot. Amazon, eBay are all product driven. You don't have to be there. You just put it up there. You get the right mix of items. So Essentially, if you've got 9 selling channels, $4,000 a month is nothing. But if you have, like many resellers do, 2, they'll tell you they have 4 or 5, but they have 2. And the 2 is going to be either Amazon and garage sales or eBay and garage sales, and maybe a flea market. Because I've had a lot of people buy my books. And if you go ahead and get Making Money A to Z with Self-Storage Unit Auctions 2011, it's got in there, you got to have multiple selling channels. And I've talked to so many people who bought that book who only had 1 or 2 selling channels and was like, I'm not making as much money as, because you're not using all the channels. You have to. And like I said, to keep this short, I will break down the whole thing, because you put this together, and I estimate you could put it together in 6 months. You could be making $4,000 to $5,000 consistently year round, because you have a lot of variety. You're not wedded to one thing. Like, that's one of the things. People think I hate antiques. I don't hate antiques. They're just very limited. You get some good stuff, you go to an auction, it's going to be high. But when you have 9 different selling channels, you can get low stuff, you can get middle of the road stuff, and you can get high-end stuff, and you have the infrastructure to support all that without killing yourself. Now this right here is the juice. This is the mother load. As you go through this course, one of your goals is to create your own product. I don't care if it's cupcakes. I don't care if it's gingerbread. You need to find something that you can create for some cents or a few dollars and sell for 5 to 10 times more than what you paid to make it. That's where you make your real money. When I go to that video, producer or consumer on YouTube, this is what I'm talking about. Many people do not understand. And someone even said, if I was making $600,000 a year, there's no way in hell. Now, first of all, let's really break that down. What have I said about my business from day one? I had a partner, so I wasn't making $600,000 a year. We were making $600,000 a year. And really, the best year we got close to $1 million, but we had expenses, employees. So, that one year we both took close to around, I'm going to say, because I kind of slid some money somewhere else. But if we wanted to, we both could have took home over $300,000 that year. But that was the only year, because the thing is, you got cost. Most of the time we're between $150 and $185 a piece, which is great money. Now, what people don't understand is, why would I let that go? Because if you've never made any real money in your life, there's nothing I can say that's going to make you understand it. You're just like, no, because you can't deal with it, because it's just, that's 3, 4, 5, 6 times what I make per year. There's no way I would do whatever. This right here is the reason. And I said it in the video. Yes, I'll give up 6 figures to make 7 figures later on. It is a risk, but it's trending in the right direction. Because, see, this is the thing. By creating my information products, by creating my books, my manufacturing and acquisition costs are nil. I'll just tell you straight up. For me to print up a book on CreateSpace is anywhere from $1.80 for the small one to $6 for a real thick one. Ship it, $7 to $10. Or if I ship a bunch together. So I can create these products and have total cost in those products, including the transaction fee, of maybe $16, $17. And I was selling that package at one point for $100. That's why you want to create your own products. You got to start somewhere. And this is the thing. You are smarter than you know. There's a skill. I'll give you another example. I had a friend who's a writer, and she was struggling with her main genre. And I just said, why don't you do a how-to book? And she's like, "What? I don't know what to do." I was like, what do you like to do? And we talked about it because she's one of my mastermind group people. And because, every time I talk to her, I get good information, and she gets good information from me. Well, I said, well, how-to? I said, what do you like to do? She said, I love to play dominoes. She wrote a domino book. She doesn't really heavily promote it. And that little book, which took her a weekend to create, because she had the knowledge already, a weekend, routinely makes her $150 to $200 a month. That one book she sells for $2.99. Now I want you to really look at this, and this is where you should get excited because you're going like, "Oh man, Glendon, $200 a month. That's enough to get excited because you're not making that kind of money off your checking account, your mutual funds. You're not. So 200. Let's just parse it. Say it stays at 150. That's $1,800 a year for something she did in one weekend. That's the power of creating your own products. And that's an information product, and that's a book. And what's it said? Explore what you can do. There's something you can do that you can write an instructional manual about, and people will buy it. I'm telling you. I have a book, a real dirty one, on how to pick up chicks. It's $3.99. That sucker sells like 100 copies a month. It cracks me up, and it's under a pen name, and no, I'm not going to tell you. But that's why I'm doing this, because learning how to do videos and learning how to do media and this stuff, I saw something very powerful. And because I've started 10 businesses now, because it was 9, but 10 businesses, I know that if you have a good idea and you groom it and you stroke it right, it will pay you off handsomely at some point. I can't say, when I'm going to get those 7 figures, but I'm living the life of Riley right now. I make 6 figures and I work from home and I don't deal with traffic and I get up whenever the hell I want to. A lot of people would trade places with me. So I'm happy and grateful for that because I know how hard it can be. I had a job at one point where I was pulling diapers and other things out of a landfill because of EPA regulations. I know what it's like to bust your ass for minimum wage in the blazing sun. That you get home, your bones ache because you work so hard. So this is what I'm telling you. By becoming a producer and creating stuff, you can create a better life for yourself. And I'm telling you, there's something in you that you can do. And do not dismiss it like, no one. Because my buddy, she was like, no one's going to buy a book about dumb. She doesn't even market that thing. They find it. She kind of poo-pooed it. And she was just like, man, yeah, this helping her with her bills. Straight up. That one book. I didn't do this one. There's a guy, he's got a book on Amazon about push-ups. But he's got 6 books, fitness-based. I tracked him 1 month. He does about $8,000 a month off these 6 books. Now, he does have a following. He has a blog and all this other stuff. And I've looked, and he's been consistently making $8,000 to $9,000 a month for last year off those 6 books. They're not big, and they're not expensive, but they answer and fulfill a need. Remember what I told you about how our storage auction business was based. We bought stuff that people needed. That was our main focus. And we got stuff that they wanted, but as long as we continued to front load with things that people needed, we did very, very well. So, just look at it. You've got some skills. What can you make cheaply? And the thing is, you may start on something and then that path will lead you to something better. Because that's what happened with me with YouTube and writing the books. I had a totally different plan. So think about what you can create. It's pivotal in your success. Now this is actually the magic jelly beans right here. And I preach it. Once you get your infrastructure, say you're selling antiques and you get tired of selling antiques, but you got a warehouse, you have a truck, you can instantly go out and source another product and start selling it without the startup costs because you already have everything. This happens all the time. That's why once you get to a certain infrastructure level, it's very easy to change with the times. And, being a business person, you're going to have to change with the times. It's just part of the game. You're just going to have to change. So understand, you can do a lot. We did a lot from those 2 warehouses I had. We did a lot. So understand that you need many different selling platforms and you need many different products. But you only need one hub. Give you an example. Say you got your eBay, Amazon. You got all that stuff coming out of one warehouse, right? You got one employee that's shipping all your stuff out for you. That's a full-time job. And because you have the long tail selling method, you don't need each channel to break you off proper, as we used to say in the hood, because You got 9 selling channels, right? And they all do $500 a month. That's $125 a week. That's $4,500 a month. So instead of contracting and just focusing on a few things, expand yourself. Really, really spread out, and you'll be surprised. All right, this is Glendon, and I'll see you on the good side.